Happy Christmas. Well, it's day 85, you know, it happens to be Christmas Day today as well. I'm not really a great believer in all that sort of stuff, you know, but old habits die hard and stuff, you know, it's tradition and whatever. Anyway, what was I going to make this video about? I trained myself to laugh, you know, deliberately. I smoked a lot of cannabis. I got this. It was while there was this war on in Afghanistan. The British troops were bringing back loads of really good quality Afghani hashish. You know, this sort of black, sort of rubbery stuff. A really nice smell, like of incense when you burned it, and that it's really comforting. It reminds me sometimes of like when you put hot milk on wheat. Like you had these wheat biscuits when I was a kid. You had these wheat, probably still get them, shredded wheat. They used to be called. Although I've not seen them for a while. But you used to put hot milk on them, boiled milk, and pour it on top of the shredded wheat, and it would give off this smell, this really sort of like really nourishing, comforting sort of smell. And I get the same sort of smell from this cannabis, this black Afghani cannabis from Afghanistan, obviously. And I used to smoke. Well, I went for about a 3-week period, and I smoked about 2 ounces of this stuff a week. And over a 21 period, I mean, it's probably about 3.5 weeks, but over a 21, in 21 days, if you do the same thing every day for 21 days, it becomes a habit. So where I was laughing about 50 times a day, like a child laughs, you know, it costs a lot of money. It cost me like £600, something like that, £600, and for 3 weeks. And where I normally only get about £100 a week to live on, £80 a week to live on, £200 a week's a lot of money, you know. I've still got to buy food and stuff, you know. So that amount of money that had to come from somewhere, you know. It meant saving up money and you know, borrowing and stealing and stuff, you know, just to get the money to sort of like I could funnel it into this process of, you know, smoking 2 ounces of the best quality cannabis I could get, and so that I would feel happy all the time for 3 whole weeks, and it would become a habit. So that was a really good investment. It was like 2 years ago, something like that. I think it was about 2 years ago. About this time 2 years ago, I just about done it, and it seemed like a really good investment because ever since then, my depression periods of depression have only lasted very short times. You know, so I get over them a lot more quickly because you know, I go into this habit of laughing, and any problems I get, I laugh them off. But it was an investment, you know, and I was inspired by the Bible, you know, and it said about like if you want to get into the kingdom of heaven, you've got to be like a child. And I found out research that children laugh 50 times a day on average, whereas adults only laugh about 6 times a day on average. And it says in the Bible, you've got to become like a child to get into the kingdom of heaven. So I used 2 ounces of cannabis, which cost £200 a week, for 3 weeks to train myself to laugh 50 times a day. And it was, to me, that's one of the best investments, probably the best investment I ever made. It's still paying off. I still feel really good benefits from it. It's like an investment that keeps giving. Unless you get sort of kidnapped and tortured, I suppose, and made to feel bad for at least 21 days, then that 21 days of investment of using good quality cannabis with CBD, not THC only, you know, you can't get the same effect from a lot of this modern skunkweed sort of stuff. They have actually started recently bringing out CBD rich versions of the skunkweed. That would have the same effect. It would give you that same medicinal effect and stuff. But just the normal cannabis that you get on the street nowadays, it doesn't really do the stuff. It hasn't got the CBD in it. So you need to get either old-fashioned kind of cannabis, or this new stuff that's got high concentrations of CBD in it, to get that kind of effect where you just feel happy and relaxed and good and healthy. Because the modern stuff it's got loads of THC but hardly any CBD, and so it lifts you up and it brings you back down again. It's sort of like a pendulum going backwards and forwards, and you've got to keep smoking to get the effect of forwards again. And then when it runs out, you go backwards. And if you smoke, the more you smoke, the more you need to keep smoking. So, it becomes impossible, or you become like a zombie. And the only proper way out of it is to smoke CBD-rich cannabis, so it balances up. It stops the pendulum swinging backwards and forwards, and you get into contact with that central pillar, that central column of the Kundalini, the Sushumna. And you can do Shiva Darshana. You can't do that with this everyday THC rich cannabis. You need stuff that's got CBD in as well. I really believe it's the plant that's talked about in the Book of Enoch. It's got the good smell, and all the saints at the end of times will use this plant to that's what they will use as part of their process of being saints and ordering things in the world and putting things to rights.